Hey everybody, it's Goblinox, and welcome back to some more Magic Green, and today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Secrets of Strixhaven, the spell slingiest format ever to spell sling. Without further ado, let's get into pack one, pick one here. This is a really good pack one. Prismari Charm is a really flexible piece of interaction. Snarl Song is one of the biggest, most important reasons to be in Converge. It is what's going to stabilize you against all the aggro decks. And then Pensive Professor is just a ridiculous card engine for anything in blue. So a really good pack here. I'm going to scoop up the Snarl Song. This card is just really important to Converge strategies, and Converge strategies are one of the strongest decks. So if you can lock in something like a Snarl Song early and get onto that Converge train, you can usually have a really nice deck around it. So I'm going to grab the Snarl Song and see if we can accomplish that here. Pick number 2, there's a green-blue dual land. Dual's always going to be high in Converge. There's a Scrollsmith, which will probably be a bit difficult to cast, but it is a really good value play. There's a Brush Off, which is really nice in the mirror match. It's a little rough against the aggressive strategies because it's pretty expensive at countering creatures, but it's very good against the other slow decks. There's Elite Interceptor, which doesn't make any sense in Converge, but it's good in Lorehold and Silverquill. So there's a lot of good cards in this pack. Paradox Gardens, Interceptor, Brush Off, and Scrollsmith I think are all the best ones here. I'm just going to go for Rot Power and grab a Scrollsmith here and just kind of disregard mana values right now. Pick number 3, Decorum Dissertation is pretty absurd in Witherbloom, but it is going to be awkward in big 5-color slower control-y decks because we're going to be taking a beating early. So tapping out for something that doesn't defend us at all and also loses us more life, that is definitely a way to get killed in a more controlling deck. But in the Witherbloom decks where you're stacking up a bunch of life gain, this card's completely absurd. Like all the other Paradigm cards, it's just not for this strategy. What is for this strategy is Potioner's Trove, which gives us literally whatever color we need and gains us a lot of life early against more aggressive strategies. Potioner's Trove is a great one. Pick number 4, there's the Arcane Omens, which is absurd in the mirror match, where everybody's playing slower decks, trying to get those higher mana values. All of a sudden, you just make them discard your whole hand and you've won the game. Grab an Arcane Omens. Pick number 5. Not much for Converge in particular, but there is the Great Tome Blast removal spell that can clear out 2 things off the one spell. Definitely a fan of that. Noxious Newt is okay as well, but obviously doesn't fix us. It only provides green mana. Pick 6. None of these cards are great. Sleight of Hand or Forum of Amity are the options, and I'm just going to grab the Forum. Pick number 7, Grapple with Death. If we have really good mana, can turn into removal for us. Not too much else. There's the Newt, but I'll grab a Grapple. Pick 8, another Grapple with Death, I guess. Sure. Pick number 9 is a Wilts in the Heat. Yep. It's the card that makes sense here. We're like every color but blue right now. It's pretty wild. We do really want to pick some core colors here and just splash in a little bit of the other stuff. Ideally, like black is just a splash. Maybe we're Lorehold at the core currently. Some Witherbloom splashed in. We'll figure it out. Pack 1 is still early for figuring out what's going on with your mana and Converge decks. But it's definitely something that we want to be keeping in mind throughout this draft. Don't love any of these. Pick 10. I'll grab a Glyph Mage because I think a little closer to trying to be like Lorehold at the core than Witherbloom colors at the core. I think either card that we draft there is quite likely to get cut by the end of this draft, but just on the off chance. Maybe we will have to be Witherbloom at the core just because we're getting every single Grapple with Death in the draft pod. It's crazy. If we get some of the green creatures that can grab a basic land of any type, then that would be a fine core color pair. We get a pick 13 in Johnny's response, though, so that's right back to Lorehold. I'm not going to play a Giraffe. Pack 2, pick 1. What do we have? No fixing outside of a duel. There is a Mythic. Emeritus of Woe, 4 mana, 5/4, enters prepared. It's basically 6 mana. 6 mana, 5/4, put the best card in your deck into your hand. Yeah, that's absurd. We take Emeritus of Woe, and I guess now we have a black Mythic as well. This is something I've never done before with my Converge decks. 9 times out of 10, I'm like Prismari at the core in these decks, going blue-red or Quandrix. Like blue-red or blue-green, a lot of blue at the core. I don't think I've ever done a Witherbloom at the core 5-color deck, but this might be the time to do it. We have triple Grapple with Death, and we have Emeritus of Woe here out of black that needs double black. And then if Converge is heavily contested, Witherbloom is not really contested at all. So we could just play a Witherbloom deck. Worst case scenario, we start taking Witherbloom colors highly, like a Bitter Triumph, or Witherbloom Charm, or Noxious Newt, or Last Gasp. Transcendent Archaic's a reasonable card for Converge, but might not pan out if Converge is contested. And it's nowhere near as important as something like a Snarl Song for that strategy. I'm going to grab a Bitter Triumph here, which will definitely make the cut either way. Second Snarl Song. Well, you drive a hard bargain. We've got a Witherbloom dual land. Eternal Student is pretty good value. That's it for exciting stuff. Prismari Charm's good, but like the mana's going to be real difficult for that. I got to get some fixing highly now that we're on the double Snarl Song plan. Double Snarl Song Arcane Omens. Pick 5. Not a lot going on here. If we were a dedicated Witherbloom deck, we could try to gain life enough times for Comforting Counsel, but I don't think that's going to happen. We'll take a cheap little Death Toucher to defend us in the early game. Definitely playing a Potioner's Trove in here. If we're just like green, black, splash, white for now, and if the mana gets good enough, we're full Converge. This looks pretty reasonable. Another Arcane Omens, though. Join us. Maybe every color but blue is how we're converging this one out. Not seeing any of the green mana fixing, though, is definitely hurting us. Osteomancer or Concoctor here. Just filler creature or filler creature. Another Wilt in the Heat, but our mana's not excellent for that. Are you really going to go for Shopkeeper's Bane over it, though? I mean, I've got enough removal spells out of just like Witherbloom. I don't need too many crazy off-color ones, so I don't really think I need the Wilt. Guess I am going Bane or Pull from the Grave here. Pick 9. No fixing. We're getting desperate, and that final package is going to be all spent on fixing, I guess. Cards are all pretty bad except Embrace the Paradox. But we don't have any blue in this deck right now. Noxious Newt or Last Gasp. We've got a lot of expensive stuff, so Newt looks pretty valuable, as good as Last Gasp is. Yeah, this is really weird. I've never drafted these colors at the core to converge, so we'll see. We'll see if this last pack can really shape up this deck for us. Terramorphic Expanse. Mana value exactly X. Okay, fix what's broken is pretty awful. So we just take a Terramorphic and we wheel Response or Gasp. I don't think we're wheeling Tome Blast. Speaking of Tome Blast, we're going to put one in here. We're trying to splash into red and white. Just play everything but blue. No dual land in here. Pack 3, pick 2. No mana fixing in here either. I could have rode my own creature. That sounds like an actual nightmare scenario where that's how we're mana fixing. There's really not much else in here but a heated argument. I'm taking a road. Okay, there's another green-black duel. That's a huge pickup. Wander off is good too. Magus of the Library is cute. But definitely hard to cast when we're splashing in a 3rd and 4th color, so let's grab a Titan's Grave. Pack 3, pick 4. No fixing again. There is a Last Gasp, though, that I will take. Pick 5. No fixing. Send in the Pest. Splash in a Stirring Honormancer. We could cast this for double black and white, and it'll be a good value play. We already are splashing white more than anything else. Yeah, Honormancer and Send in the Pest both look good here. I'll go for the Honormancer. Couple more chunky creatures. Another Grapple with Death. Yep. Green-blue dual land. I'm not actually playing anything blue, so this is only for converging, but I have 2 Snarl Songs and 2 Arcane Omens, so I am definitely converging on occasion. Pick 8. I don't think I care about any of this at all. Camel. Did wheel into Johnny's response. All right. Not in love with how this draft went. We didn't see, like, we saw the big converge payoffs. Double Snarl Song, double Arcane Omens is absolutely enough in terms of huge converge payoffs to build a converge deck around. What we didn't see, though, that is the problem, is that we didn't see, like, any of the fixing. We didn't get the 1 mana 1/1 that can rampant growth for 2 mana, tutoring a basic and putting into play tapped. We didn't see any of the 2 mana 2/2 that can grab any basic land when it enters. We didn't see any of the 3 mana vehicle that can grab any basic land when it enters. So the mana is rough here, but we can build this with like a very Witherbloom core. Drop like a Wilt in the Heat to just be a bunch of green and black, some white, and a touch of red. Could even put the Giraffe in here just to get more Witherbloom in. Help that mana base out, make things simpler. Still have Bitter Triumph, Last Gasp, Erode, 4 Grapple with Death, 2 of Johnny's Response. Yeah, I think I can cut 2 red cards and then run like this. Because we have to be, with worst fixing here, really deep on the main 2 colors, if we can, so we can consistently cast at least something, like a 4 mana 3/4. You know how it is. Alright. Not where we wanted to be by the end of this draft, but it is certainly a deck. 11 black cards, 10 green cards, and 5 white. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black sources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green. Let's cut a white for another green. Go 8, 8 on the main colors. And then red, we have 1 mountain and a Terramorphic and a Potioner's Trove. And white, we have 1, 2, 3 planes, a Forum of Amity, a Terramorphic Expanse, and a Potioner's Trove. We will call it a deck there, hop into the gameplay, and see how far Witherbloom-based Converge can take us. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 1. We keep the opener. Probably grab the green source, but I'll get the first tap land out of the way first so that if we do top deck the forest, we could Terramorphic into something else. We didn't top deck the forest, so I think we have to Terramorphic for it now because we do have 3 mana green cards we could draw into. So I shouldn't just sit here and wait. And I do have a big Converge card, so it's very tempting too, but Green's a super important color to the deck that I could draw into something for, like, immediately. Abstract Paint Mage. We're probably going to kill that next turn. I guess because I'm just going to kill that next turn. I don't have to crack Terramorphic yet because I'm not playing a 3-mana card. And there's the green source. So now I know I can Terramorphic for blue or red. Actually, I can't for blue. We are not running any islands. But we can Terramorphic for the red then. Although it will mean I don't play anything next turn because I'll be playing a tapped green source next, but still, for the Snarlsong, I think worth. And the Arcane Omens. Okay, take one big spectacular Sky Whale hit here, I imagine. Oh, nope. No spells cast. Take 1 damage. Let's go. Grapple with Death is the draw. Oh, they only have 3 cards in hand. We absolutely Arcane Omens them. I don't even need to think about that. I was going to be like, is it worth Grapple with Deathing instead of Omensing in case they have a big spell to play? But it's like, no, if I Omens them, they don't have anything to play. We just take 2. Concoctor does not have Reach. The Giraffe has Reach. The Giraffe actually at MVP. We could Snarlsong, though, and have 4/4s beating down against 1/4s, which will win the race, so I think we just Snarlsong. MVP Giraffe, though. He's coming up soon. Double Spectacular Sky Whale. If they hit any spells, those are going to hit really hard. I can play the Giraffe. I can only play 1 green card a turn right now. Which basically means I only play 1 card a turn. I could play Concoctor and a Johnny's Response. Or Giraffe and a Johnny's Response. I guess I'll go Giraffe, a Johnny's Response, and then when I cast Concoctor, the Giraffe will get bigger. If I want to get really greedy, I could decide not to kill a tapped creature, or if they don't attack, then that works. And then I'm casting a 5-mana Johnny's Response, which means buffing Giraffe that way too. But I'd rather go Concoctor for the buff. Boop, boop. They have no cards in hand, so they just don't have blocks. They go to 4. I probably could have afforded to send the Giraffe into. Ooh, there they go. Though, get the 3+1/+1 counters on each of those. Get the buff on the mascot. Disdainful Stroke up. And just hold them up as blockers, and they are big blockers. I don't have the mana for both removal spells. Tragic. They're at 4 life. Oh, what am I? I'm overthinking things. Apologies, opponent. I just attack with 4 creatures against 3 blockers and they're dead. All right. Giraffe MVP. Best card in the deck. We are 1-0 heading to game 2. All right, here we are on the play for game number 2. Lord, we need to draw mana here. If we draw a Swamp, though, Grapple with Death and Shopkeeper's Bane to start us off, gain us some life, buy us some time. This feels immensely risky, though, on Forest Plains as the first 2 lands, and a bunch of 6, 5-mana Scrollsmith, also really expensive. I'll take the mulligan on it. Okay, this is much better mana. Expanse for red. I can Expanse for red, Grave is green, black, Plains is the white, and I've got all the colors. We keep that, ditch the forest. Yeah. We could even Scrollsmith a Bitter Triumph if we find a second white or red source. That'll be nice. I don't think that it's crazy to just Bitter Triumph a Hydro Channeler against Prismari to slow them down. Because they're not going to play another creature for a while if they are a Spell Slingy version. So just shoot the mana ramp and keep them off of their big spells. And this is a very removal-heavy deck, as you can see, with immediately draw Grapple with Death after that. I need to find another swamp or plains for Honormancer too. We've got a lot of swamps in here, though. We've got 8 black sources. We could be chilling here. We could be sitting here doing nothing next turn. Actually, next turn would be really good for them to play. A really good turn for them to play a creature for us. Perfect. Now we can grapple with death if nothing else, and we can't do anything else, so we grapple with death. Flow State, very good value. 2 mana, draw 2. Out of the top 3. Then play a Paint Mage, ramping up. Group that. Again, just keeping them off the 7 mana stuff. I don't think I have anything in this deck that makes me discard a card to draw a card, right? Yeah, there's no reasons to hold on to this extra land in here. Definitely getting hard punished for some of our lack of mana fixing in this deck, as we were saying at the end of the draft. There we go, though. That unlocks everything. Plains is a really, really good draw. They probably have a counter for these, though, but Scrollsmith doesn't do anything until they play a creature, so I have to Honormancer first. Yeah, Essence Scatter, fair enough. Got access to a lot more cards than us, because a lot of our cards are just sitting on the board. They're just a bunch of lands. Practical Joke the Scrollsmith. Well, see if they have the counter for this. If they don't, that's massive. Quick Study. That is not a counter. Huge work from Arcane Omens off the top. It's really going to balance things out, put them to 2 cards in hand. Although, the best 2 out of 7, probably still going to be a pretty good hand. Frog. Three flyer surveil 2. Keep them both on top. So 7th land into the Visionary Stance. Yep, makes sense. Grapple with Death, that's pretty bad against Visionary Stance, but it is what it is. Looking for our Snarl Songs, primarily. Or our Emeritus of Woe would also be incredible. Just looking for our own finishers. That's a really good top deck. The 3-for-1, get a 2-1 and draw 2 additional cards. That is a really bad top deck. We already Arcane Omens them once, so this one doesn't do anything. It is a discard 1. It's better than casting nothing right now. Got rid of Prismari Charm, which would have killed the Banemaker, so... Or at least would have bounced the Banemaker back to our hand, even if we had the black up for it. Erode. Not ideal, but we're not dead. Go to 3. There's a Rubble Rouser. Discard an island, draw a card. Giraffe. Giraffe MVP! Get off of me, you 3/3 flyer. And they're Rubble Rousing, pinging it for turn over turn. I think we have to kill the Rubble Rouser. Their graveyard is massive. That's just going to ping us every turn, even if we have a blocker up. We are just dead to removal, but that's going to be the case if I kill the flyer too. They can just keep Rubble Rousing us. I can start surveilling if I don't die. Let's go. Snarl Song off the top. Now the Giraffe gets bigger. We're at a more stable life total. Yep. And then we start beating down with 5/5s while keeping the Giraffe up. I'm playing this land so I can surveil in my upkeep more easily, while still casting something else. Mill a land. Draw Mage Tower Referee. Let's go. Send in 10 damage. That's lethal next turn if they don't draw another creature. Stop on our upkeep. Oh my god, I'm telling you. We've never played Hungry Giraffaloon before because it looks... or Giraffalon before because it looks completely filler and just unimportant. But this is actually the best common in the whole set. Hungry Giraffalon clears. That is 2-0 adding into game 3. All right. Here we are for some game number. I had to edit out a half hour of unrelated stuff, so my mind is elsewhere. But I know that we're on Witherbloom Converge. Double Snarl Song in the sand. Let's go. Let's go. So just keep the Lumerette off of us, right? I really want to trade 2 damage for 2 damage against a life gain deck. I want to give you mana. I also don't want to give you a Snarl Song. Am I really ditching a Grapple with Death? This could be a terrible idea, but here I am. There's an Arcane Omens. Okay. Especially if we hit a duel here or a Potioner's Trove or something, we got some stuff going on. Oh, goodbye, Banemaker. Very well. Not any other colors of mana. Maybe we'll top deck the 1 basic mountain. We did top deck the Trove, but I can't play Omens and Trove together this turn. Play it now for a bigger Snarl Song next turn, and then just no Omens till it might be a little too late. Could be awkward. Yeah, we're going into 10 here. And then there's Emeritus. Yeah, we have to Snarl Song this turn. The Mythic Emeritus. Okay, Snarl Song for 4. Barrage one of the tokens. The other one remains. And now we can omens their whole hand away. That's pretty suspicious. What are you doing here? Do what you're gonna do. Oh, just triggering Emeritus? That's fair. I kind of forgot how that card works. Well, we still ditched their whole hand here. I probably shouldn't have blocked, though. Because now they'll at least have the best card in their deck, if nothing else. I think we could still stabilize here, though. If we make sure we don't trigger Emeritus anymore. Then I get to Snarl Song next turn and having a Johnny's Response ready for later. Wouldn't be surprised if they just go Grapple with Death, the 4/4 swing. That would be really good for me, though, because then I get to, like, if I hit an untapped land, I get to Snarl Song and Response the Emeritus for 2. It's not the play. There's our own Emeritus. Very funny. Probably not the play. I guess I could Emeritus into the 5th Converge color. Because I can Emeritus and gain the life. If I go for a Johnny's Response and Emeritus turn together, that's really good, though. Yeah, I'm just going to play another Snarl Song. Dawning Archaic was their choice. Okay, well. We have to Johnny's Response that. Let them keep their Emeritus and make sure we never kill. There's never a turn where 2 or more creatures die. Which is slightly awkward because I'd like to attack here, but then they can chump block with Lumerat to find another big spell. Oh, it's only during their end step. Okay. I should probably read the Mythics with like a billion lines of text. I could have attacked there. It wouldn't have done anything. Okay, Emil's a big issue. So we need to tutor a way to kill Emil. I have 2 mana untapped. I could find Bitter Triumph to kill Emil. And play it immediately. Yeah, we're vibing, we're good. Okay, thank God I correctly remembered that I do have a Bitter Triumph in this deck, but I could also get Last Gasp. Save the Bitter Triumph. Cauldron of Essence for the blind top deck. That's a really good draw. Sack Bogwater Lumerat, get back Dawning Archaic at worst. That's insane. They're going to choose the Poisoner's Apprentice, so 2 creatures have died and Emeritus triggers again. Yep, that is absolutely gnarly. What a draw. What a draw indeed. Go to 2, they say. Getting close to enough mana, it might be interesting to surveil in our upkeep as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd still have 4 mana untapped after an upkeep surveil. Not enough for an Honormancer or an Arcane Omens, but enough for anything else we draw. I guess it wouldn't be enough for Scrollsmith either. Yep, get your 7/7. They're actually dead on board still. Doesn't even matter. Just attack with 4/4 power creatures and hit them for 4. Just take a blind draw then, because it doesn't matter. Goodbye, opponent. Yeah, there's no first strike, so their triggers go on the stack after they're already dead. Alright, I did not expect that outcome at all. Our opponent had a lot of really cool, really powerful stuff going on, but we had our own mythic as well. We got our Emeritus, and we did a couple Snarl songs, so that was enough to compete. Incredible stuff from Witherbloom Converge so far. I believe we're on like a win streak. Don't know how long that win streak is, but let's find out. 3-0? 3-0, undefeated Witherbloom Converge. All right, here we are on the play for game number 4. We'll grab a white source for this hand. Probably. I'm going to go Titan's Grave first and just play Banemaker on 2 rather than Terramorphing into white, playing a tap land and not even playing anything turn 2. This also gives us the option to crack Terramorphic for the mountain if we top decked a white source, but we didn't, so. I do have a lot more white sources than red, so I could still crack for red when I have a Converge card like Snarl Song in hand and just play Concoctor on 5 instead and save Automancer for much later. This might be a little bit greedy, but I'm going to do that. Emeritus of Woe is the draw. I don't really want to run that out turn 4, but that's where it fits in the curve, so I might do it anyway. If I draw basically anything else to cast next turn, I'll do that instead. Yeah, especially against Witherbloom. There's a lot of removal spells in Witherbloom. Mozio is their play. 2-1 flyer, plus get a pest token, plus just keep reanimating stuff out of their grave, as long as they've gained enough life. Without a removal spell in hand here, I don't think I can block, because Mozio is just going to reanimate the Lumerets. But I would absolutely trade there if I had removal too. I go like trade and then like Bitter Triumph Mozio. That would be worth it. Johnny's response. Ooh. It's going to make it look real bad. I didn't grab the white. Emeritus and pass. If Emeritus doesn't die, we Demonic Tutor for Plains. Emeritus dies. They go to 19, but they're going to gain a bajillion life right back. Here's Mindful Biomancer already gaining 2. Just get this pest token out of here. That's never going to come back. 5th mana leads us to Concoctor. I'm going to die for our greed here. This one mountain. Mind Roots. Well, starting to look like we may have died no matter what. Not actually a horrendous draw. I mean, if we hit land 6, I think we're actually favored. At this point, after that Arcane Omens. That was pretty huge. We shut off all their life gain but Lumeret. That's land 6. We get a Surveil during their end step as well. They could double block here, actually. Go for the Biomancer trade. If they play 2 creatures in one turn, that's awkward. That's 1 creature, so they don't reanimate anything off that. Thankfully. That is a Death Toucher, though, so I'm just going to trade into the token. Okay, we've got the grapple with death for Mozio now. And then a 4-4 beats a 2-2. We trade here. 4-4 beats 2-2, grapple with death. Trades there. And we're slightly ahead. Ooh, double grapple. Tempting. I don't think I should, though. Should probably save the second grapple for another bomb creature of some kind. Barrage Barrage. God dang it. I'm going to take a couple extra hits here. See if I draw anything, because I have plenty of creatures that beat a 2-2. Alright, well, at that rate. If it's double grapple, then here we are. One, two, three, four. I could surveil in the upkeep and not have grapple up. I don't think I'm doing any upkeep surveils, but I'll put the stop there just in case. It's good to have the option open, and if you don't put a manual stop there, Arene's just going to skip past it. What are our biggest draws? We do have a second Snarl Song in this deck. That's almost definitely the biggest draw. The Hungry Giraffe Balloon. That's a pretty big one. Practice Scrollsmith would be huge, because then we could play the other Snarl Song. We did get the mountain, so we can do the Scrollsmith if we find it. Shopkeeper's Bane's also big. We got some good draws. We got some good draws. There it is, Shopkeeper's Bane. Alright, fair enough. 1-for-1 trade. Some of my best draws are expensive enough I'm not going to surveil in that upkeep. Tap myself out of them. I'll just surveil in the end step. We don't need immediate impact. We can wait till the next turn. Now I could forward any 4 mana or less card surveilling now. I'm just looking to surveil in the end step. Ooh. Ooh. Till the end of your next turn. Okay, so I can hit the Snarl Song and wait to play it until I actually have the 5 colors of Converge. I don't have to do it right now. Boom. Huge stuff. Should probably do it, especially with a Grapple with Death as backup. There's the concession from our opponent. We remain undefeated at 4-0 now, heading into game number 5. Here we are for game number 5. I'd say this opening hand has a decent shot against anything. Triple removal is obviously awkward against other slower decks, but Arcane Omens is really good against other slower decks. If they're a faster deck, triple removal is going to help us out a lot early in the Arcane Omens to try to shut off anything they do late. So I think this is a really nice looking opener. As long as we hit a couple lands by turn 5 and we're on the draw, that should be easy enough to do. Our opponent leads with the Elite Interceptor and a Diary of Dreams. Okay, so now they have a card draw engine. They have a card draw engine post Arcane Omens, so that makes the Arcane Omens less good. I'm just going to shoot the Interceptor immediately there so they don't have the Rejoinder. That's going to draw them a card and put a counter on Diary and make that cheaper to activate later, so I think Rejoinder actually looks really valuable for them. If we kill that and then they just play a 3-mana creature and we kill it, we can try to keep this Diary locked down. Keep it from getting any cheaper. Although they've got a 1-mana instant based on how that just turned out. I don't think the white instant gives indestructible, so I don't think they'd want to cast it in response to this, even if it would make the diary cheaper. The black one gives indestructible. The white one gives like +2/+2 first strike. If we manage to keep that stranded in their hand with just a stack removal, that's going to be really nice. And then we just omens it out of there. An elite interceptor. Last gasp here. Last gasp could be countered by the white trick, but they're tapped out of white. So I'm going to do it. Because the black trick can't stop that. The black gives indestructible, but it doesn't add to the toughness, and if you're a -1 toughness, even if you're indestructible, you're dead. Shattered Acolyte. And then we blow up their hand and turn things around. Well, turn things around. Things aren't even against us right now, but you know. Rip away their hand and then get ahead. It is the white trick. It's 2 copies of it. 2 interjections and an honor bound page there. This Diary of Dreams is just stranded till they hit 5 mana. There's 4. So top deck a land and they're going. Giraffe. The MVP of our deck is back with a vengeance. Alright, there's the 5th land. Johnny's response and grapple with death. Alright, I might have to spend a removal spell on the lifelinker because we just don't race it anyway. Actually, probably spend the 5 mana removal and upgrade our Giraffe. Draw a diary card. Draw for turn. Play their land for turn. Never going to get much more out of Arcane Omens. Let's get a +1/+1 counter and have them ditch 1. Last gasp, fair enough. Oh, grapple can blow up artifacts. I'm so dumb. Why do I always forget that? Reading the card explains the card. We could have grappled Diary a long time ago. Really should have done that. Yeah, that actually would have been a really good turn to just grapple Diary and save the Omens. So like they draw another Diary card, but then we Omens them the turn after. Alright, at least I figured it out eventually. But if we lose this game, it's probably because we didn't grapple that earlier. We dug them through another like 3 cards they probably wouldn't have drawn otherwise. And before this Giraffe solos them, I believe in you, Giraffalon. Sure. Another grapple. Informed Incrite, really good with any repartee triggers. Spitting out tokens. I will keep a Snarl Song. Snarl Song makes the Giraffe 6 power and forces a chump. And then I got some 4/4s ready to kill them. If I grapple with death, I'm just putting them to 1. It's not lethal anyway, so... There's the concession from our opponent, Hungry Giraffalon. MVP made it all the way to 6 power to force a chump with their rare. We take those. I believe we are 5-0. Did we get an undefeated run all the way into the money with this Witherbloom Converge? We certainly did. 5-0 heading into game number 6. All right, very controlling hand here for game 6. We have a Death Toucher and 3 removal spells. Opponent takes a mulligan. Okay, let's start with Noxious Newt. Playing against a red deck. Lorehold it is, red-white. Tome Blast our Newt, Molten Note our Newt. Basically the same. Same card, but its flashback is better. Antiquities on the Loose. That card is disgusting. 4 creatures off of 1 spell. Very good against single target removal, which is what our deck is stocked full of. So our deck is really bad against Antiquities on the Loose. Not that there's a lot of decks that are particularly good against it. I think it's like one of the top rares in the whole set. Yeah, I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we just die to Antiquities on the Loose by itself. Inkshape Demonstrator. Okay. Rather grapple that and then erode it. So if I erode, I'm guaranteeing they have the 6th mana for the flashback. And then the erode also gets them closer to the Molten Note at 8. That's a Spirit, isn't it? Yeah, which means that that'll get the buff from Antiquities on the Loose. So that's another okay card to kill. There's no color of basic that's worth ditching a road right now. Okay, that is something. Rip the rest of their hand out, but still, all they gotta do is oh my god, their deck is gnarly. They got Antiquities on the Loose and Practiced Offense, which are not only the strongest white rares, they're like the strongest rares, period, regardless of color. So this is going to be devastating. They're also really good against Arcane Omens because they've both got flashback. Practiced Offense for a +1/+1 counter on all their creatures. We can at least erode the one that's going to get a special ability this turn. And that's going to get them up to that Molten Note mana. Well, now we can start surveilling. Surprised they pursued the past instead of just multi-noting the Bane. I'm just setting up for a long game, I guess, rather than pushing damage right now. Oh, or they just have the 1 mana removal. Gross. So they can just do it all. $14. Bitter Triumph is the draw. It's not going to be enough. We need specifically Snarl Songs. I think I have to ditch it. Because then I go to 11, take 5, go to 6. Yeah, I don't think we're getting out of this. Unless we literally had 2 Snarl Songs in a row underneath that Bitter Triumph. And that is not the case. There's a Molten Core Maestro for another very powerful rare. Gets bigger every time they cast an instant or sorcery, which they've got these flashback spells to cast to buff it up. Down to 3. Giraffe, I'm sorry, my friend. Practiced Scrollsmith. Not gonna work. Kill one of their creatures, block another one, take well over lethal. Alright. First loss was against a incredible Lorehold deck over there. They dropped 2 of the strongest rares in the whole set against us. Fair enough. 5-1 it'll be, heading into game number 7. Snarl Song opener. It's a Snarl Song for 3 in this current hand, but I think we keep nonetheless. And I think we have to Terramorphic for black nonetheless. We are on the draw. We could top deck a Swamp turn 1, and then we get to Snarl Song for 4, because we can Terramorphic for the mountain. What are you going to do, big zesty papa? Play an island and pass. We did not draw a black source, so that's Terramorphic on a swamp. Blue-green from our opponent, some Quandrix good stuff. Arcane Omens is the draw. Now I really want a 4th color, but all I can do about that is just kind of cross my fingers. They've got an Essence Scatter for this Banemaker, but they don't want to counter such a dirty little frog. They might not have Scatter. Could have just been holding for the Deduce there. This Giraffe is going the distance. It's going to grow twice in a row. It's going to be a 5-6 if it sticks around. Sultai now from our opponent, so they're also a little convergy, blue, green, and black. Mozio, fantastic rare. Even if I kill the Mozio, they've still got a token of a value left behind. This was the last planes in my whole deck. Very awkward mana draw. But a land is still useful, getting us towards that 6 mana. Poke me with a pest. And they pass. There's a Johnny's response. Not exactly in a block with Banemaker, so I might as well get 1 damage in. Giraffe. We can't win if they Essence Scatter our Giraffe. No! No! Can't believe they would deny us our bomb rare like that. We would have been unstoppable. Down to 19. Find Emeritus of Woe. Whoa. Do I want another black source? This is not a game where we found one. We found all 3 of our planes instead. Omens is probably going to get countered, but I think even just as a discard 3, it's better to cast it here than do nothing for the turn. I suppose doing nothing for the turn is holding up an arcane response for 5 on their next creature. That's not the worst. But it's probably better to Omens. That'll get them down to 2 cards. Creature removal, an Essence Scatter, and a Run Behind. Ew. Stock up. Find the best 2 cards in their top 5. Very excellent. Draw a spell. Last gasp is the draw. Do we pray? There's no way. We're not under enough pressure to need to run out of Emeritus right now. We can still just sit here and hold up removal. I don't think I should just like pray that they discarded all of their removal and try to play the Emeritus. That seems bad. Fractal Mascot. I boop you. Top deck a swamp, top deck a swamp, top deck a swamp. Come on, Arena. Ooh, my red card. Ew. Again, we're taking 1 damage a turn. We can just sit here. Alright, well, the Symposium's still going to cast itself every turn from this point on, but it doesn't do anything when they don't have creatures out. So there is that. They have 1 card left in their hand. What are the odds that's removal for Emeritus? Probably pretty good. I feel like they would have kept 1 removal spell. But they're also blue-green. They could be splashing in the black removal. Our second best play here is so much worse than Emeritus. I'm just going to go for it. Textbook tabulator, okay. So let's tutor for a way to kill that. To just keep their clone thing from happening, and that'll be how we plan to win. Or I could top deck the way to kill that. Demonic Tutor for a swamp. Because mana's good, or I just play Referee, play Grapple. Play Referee, play Grapple's fine. I love how our Emeritus of War, big mythic rare, we're just playing as a 4-mana 5/4 right now. Terror Fractal, okay. Find a way to kill that. What removal do we have in our deck? Grapple with Death. We have to grab a road specifically. That's the only one I'd be able to cast. I won't have enough mana for Johnny's Response. I won't have black for any of those black removal spells, which is most of them. But I do have the mana for a road. I guess they can't even clone that one, though. They just make 0/0s. But I think the plan remains the same. Just kill every blocker until they die. Did they top deck another blocker here, or are they dead? They did. It's a blocker they can't duplicate, luckily. Got a couple of those in there. Alright, well. Even luckier. Top deck removal. And that is 6-1. We are heading into the final battle with this Witherbloom Converge brew. Very, very sweet stuff from the deck, and we'll see if we can't make it all the way to a trophy run today. Here we are for what could be the final battle, the final boss here. If we win this, we got a full trophy, and I'm not sure we can win it off of a mono white opener. We do have a road if we get a creature out to tutor for another land, but this is a super, super risky one. We'll take that mulligan. Mono green opener's not much better, but Potioner's Trove fixes that problem a lot. As long as they don't have like an Abrade to blow it up. Since we do see that they are red. There's Expressive Fire Dancer. Ooh, they're going to be going quick here. They're on the play. 2-drop on curve. Thank God. No follow-up on turn 3. That gives us a tiny bit of breathing room here. Rather run out the Potioner's Trove before I start throwing removal spells everywhere. That way I'm gaining extra life every time I'm killing a creature. Ink-Shape Demonstrator. I might kill that here even though I won't gain life because I have to pay for the ward, which is 2. Yeah, I'll just pay the ward 2. No life gain this turn. I mean, technically I still gain 1, but no Potioner's Trove life gain. Alright, we've got a Death Toucher, a couple more removal spells. I feel like we have a decent opener for this matchup. Like, it's all going to depend who gets the bigger, scarier late-game cards first, but we've got some scary late-game. I'm sure they do, too. I think this initial potential slaughter or whatever is not going to be that bad, though. We can deal with the initial stuff. There's another Death Toucher, too. So, let's... I think, again, I'm not gaining Trove life so that I can go Grapple plus Newt. Play Giraffe and a Death Toucher. That's also okay. Let's go Giraffe, Death Toucher. We hold the glass right off of us with the Giraffe, and we have the Death Toucher to block the Fire Dancer. I mean, honestly, is there really ever another play but Hungry Giraffalon? It's the best card in our deck. Don't kill it. No! Evil. Oh god, and the Fire Dancer got double strike to play around the Death Touch. Ew. Go to 2. Go to 4. So that's cheap enough to gain the extra life and play a Death Touching blocker. No, the treasure token to double Tome Blast me? Oh my god. If they had 1 less mana, we stabilized so hard off the Trove. God dang it. I guess I was supposed to grapple with Death plus Trove there. I'd be at exactly 5 to play around double Tome Blast. I didn't think they had the mana to do that, though, even if they had one. Obviously, any game that ends at 20 life to 0 doesn't look close, but that was tremendously close because we stabilized so well off of extra removal plus gain 2 every turn. I think if we grappled and we were at 5 there, we probably would win that. Because we could easily not take any more damage for the rest of the game. And then we'd be at a really, really hardy life total against the Tome Blast by the end of it. Tragic. All right, 6-2, heading into the final battle. Another mono wide opener. Terramorphic Expanse, though, does change that. This is a green-white hand, but we are drawing an insane amount of planes today. We did have that one game we drew all 3 of our planes by, like, turn 3. Alright, we Terramorphic for green, so that I turn 2 Newt, turn 3 Trove, and Banemaker. It's another aggro deck here, this time Silver Quill, so not a great matchup, but we do have a reasonable opening hand. Actually, I think we do have a pretty good matchup against aggro in general in this deck. Because we are super removal heavy. Ooh, let's go. Yeah, we are really going to be converging this game. Play the planes first, so we've got a Johnny's Response. Colors. Even if I top deck a Swamp and then want to play that for Banemaker. Land number 3. Tap the Newt, draw a card, poke for 1. Fine turn. No more threats coming out. Grapple with Death is the draw. Here is Potioner's Trove, Banemaker pass. No attacks, because obviously if I block Interceptor with a 1-2, I kill it without losing a creature, instead of like trading into Banemaker. We've got Snarl Song for 4 next turn if they don't kill any of our mana. The Newt's pretty easy to kill because it's a creature, but even the Trove, there's some ways to kill it in white, like Requisitioner's Raid. There's Adventurous Eater, have a bite onto the Interceptor to buff it up. I will trade a Death Toucher into that. Get that out of here. And let's Snarl Song for 4. And then just start using these removal spells aggressively and attacking for 8 a turn. Is the plan. We're on the beatdown now. Cheerful Osteomancer, pick up a creature from their grave. Sure. It's a big enough blocker to block our stuff too, so we'll have to throw a removal at it. I think I want to save my instant speed removal, so we go for Grapple with Death. Won't be able to hold anything up the turn that I cast this, but I won't be able to do that regardless. I think I'd rather play this land than hold it to discard a Bitter Triumph. Yeah, this is the game I'm just going to shoot myself for 3 for Bitter Triumph. Let's get to a point where we could have 7 mana up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Now I can cast both of these at full cost. There's Eager Glyph Mage. And the Elite Interceptor. So now we're using our removal spells, like for when they try to double block. Draw Swamp. Okay. Go for the Bitter Triumph. Pay 3, and then just gain 2 of it back. Still having a Johnny's Response up if I need it. They're down to 9. Paradise of Woe. They're going to get to Demonic Tutor even if I kill that immediately, just because of the way that the stack works. Or the way that priority works, specifically. So that's rough. Couldn't stop them from getting the 2-for-1 off that. And Emeritus might get us here. Depends how good their tutored card is. Even if it's not the greatest card in the world, just the 2-for-1 value helps them stabilize a lot. Even if it's just like Emeritus pick up a Bitter Triumph, if nothing else. Or in a Johnny's response. Should have Johnny's response before our turn so that we have all our mana untapped if we draw Arcane Omens or Snarl Song. There's still 3 copies of those. Forest is not any of those. Put them to 4. Pass the turn. If we draw our card that lets us recast stuff from grave, we actually have the mana to play it and Snarl Song in the same turn, but it would be a Snarl Song just for 3 3s. So I don't know if we would even do that if we do draw it. But that's added to the list of our really good top decks. We have our own Emeritus. We have 2 Arcane Omens, which are probably going to get weaker after this turn. I doubt their hand's going to stay that big. We have Stirring Honormancer, Snarl Song. Even Concoctor's pretty fine here. I think most of our non-land cards are good draws here. Alright, they do have the removal for the final 4/4, so they are stable fully now. Draw another card, go to 3 cards in hand. With Rejoinder. Or are they going to hold on to Rejoinder to try to get another Surveil off Mascot later? Just going to hold on to it. There's that Honormancer. That was one of the listed good draws for sure. Finding a road and a Shopkeeper's Bane. Certainly pick up the Shopkeeper's Bane here. Mascot for Newt. Here's 2 4-power creatures. So 2 lethal threats on board. There's their own Stirring Honormancer. 1 removal spell will kill them if we draw 1. We know this deck's got tons. We still have triple Grapple with Death in there. And a Last Gasp. Scrollsmith would work, a Johnny's response. That's a Forest, which is not removal. Which means we don't have any attacks because they will eat the 4/2 for free and chump the 4/5. Which is not worth it. Be trading my Bane into their Interceptor. Dang. I think we probably had like a 1 in 3 chance of winning that turn on the spot. Probably like a third of our draws are removal adjacent. They play another creature, so removal's not going to kill them now. Concoctor's a big boy. Draws me a card when they try to kill it too. Ellen Historian. You can start poking us in the sky. Surveil 1, keep it on top. They are drawing straight gas. Johnny's Response is our draw. So we can kill a 4/5 and then all of our attacks are pretty decent, yeah. Let's do it. They could have the black indestructible trick, I guess? Nope. Okay, then they could have some combat trick on blocks, but whatever it is what it is. We'll see. They don't have any tricks here. These are some pretty rough blocks for them. I think even if they have like one removal spell, this is a pretty good turn for us. Is this going to be removal spell the Honormancer instead of the Concoctor? Because if they removal spell the Concoctor, we draw a card. Kind of looks like what it's going to be. All right. Oh, it's going to be double removal? Erode is really good for me. I get another land and draw a card. Not great that we just drew another land, though. There's only 3 basics left. 4 non-basics. Okay. Yep, we got the Snarl Song. The Omens are pretty bad now, but we got the Song, we got the Emeritus. All the removal that would have killed them earlier. The Scrollsmith for removal. The Scrollsmith for Snarl Song now will be immediately massively impactful, because I can play the Scrollsmith and then still converge like 4 in that same turn. So obviously our current hand's pretty bad here, and they are going to start poking us, but we're at 25, so we have time. And we've got a lot of big draws out of just these 17. They did surveil to the top, though, and they find an Osteomancer. Do they have the double Osteomancer? Ah. Got double Osteomancer. They're just going to get Emeritus anyway. That makes sense. That makes sense. Osteomancer Emeritus is already really, really bad. But at least they're not trying to do the infinite loop. That's so funny. Far from the best draw, but I don't mind it that much. It's way better than hitting a land here. The full control to get you to not tap this Potioner's Trove. Use the floating mana. That's why I floated it. Inkling Mascot off the top. Hit for 7. Land. Informed Ink right off the top. I could surveil this upkeep. And still have mana for literally anything I draw. Another land. Draw. 1 removal spell. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exact lethal. Man. Game felt super winnable, but we hit a bad clump in the end there. 6 and 3. Man, after like the, what, 5-0 start? And then 5-1, and then 6-1. This would have been a sweet deck to trophy with. And I feel like our last couple losses were a little unlucky near the end there. Some rough flood. This deck was really fun. This did do better than I thought it would. I thought this was going to be pretty average at like 4-3 or 5-3, because the mana is awkward, for sure. But because of the awkward mana, just running a whole bunch of just pure Witherbloom cards in the middle so that we're always doing that stuff at least, that worked out really well. So I'm pretty happy with how I built it, how I drafted this. I think this was the spot to be. Witherbloom was wide open, just getting a massive stack of grapples here. Other great removal really late, so just a super control-y kind of green-black converge build. Super fun deck, super solid build. Don't mind it at all. Would have loved to see it get the full trophy, but you can't win them all. That is going to be 6-3 for the final record today. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.